That's you saying go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Seth and Sherry Mandel.
Hi, everybody. As Tina just said, this is Seth Mandel, Sherry Mandel. Welcome you again to Comedy for Koby, our third and final event for the Chanuka season. To remind you, we are still doing programs. There's been programs all week, and will be programs all week for the kids at Camp Koby in their homes, outside their homes, because we can't go in their homes, in parks around the area. We're doing Zoom. We're doing whatever we can to keep the kids connected to each other and to their counselors.
Okay, I want to thank our sponsors, Luna Kosher Restaurants, Profile Investment Services, which help Americans in Israel handle their U.S. brokerage and IRA accounts, Kosher Travelers, a premier kosher travel company, Nardis Advisors, the go-to advisor for U.S. Olim, Rafi Shwarma in Somet Hagush, DLA Piper, The Times of Israel, and our raffle prize sponsors, Muffin Boutique, Holy Bagel, and Scoop Catering. Thank you so much.
We will have a raffle drawing at the end of the show, so please stay with us. I want to thank the comics who have come here from all over the world, and of course, our main comic and our main man, ladies and gentlemen, Avi Liberman.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, guys. And everyone can hear me? We're good to go?
Yeah.
Yes? Good stuff. Here's the thing. It's funny because I just want to address that we had a bit of a technical situation last night where we have, as you can see, we have some special guests who have agreed to be seen, and we leave some mics on and so we can hear the laughter, and leave it to Jews last night to go, can you shut off your mic? We don't like hearing people laughing and having a good time. It's throwing me off. It's just, I'd rather just remain depressed. That would really help me out a lot more. Because when I tune into a comedy show, laughter is the last thing that I really need right now. It's only Jews, I think, would be that way. So yes, we are leaving some microphones open for people who have agreed to come on and laugh, enjoy it, have a good time. It's we're in the middle of Hanukkah, so that's the thing. We want to have fun, and I've actually been having fun. This has been strange for me because, as many of you know, I've been in Israel since August, and I'm acclimating. I've been in Tel Aviv pretty much the whole time. And I've learned some things about getting around Tel Aviv. This applies obviously to the whole country. I'm a big bus guy. I like taking the bus. I like taking the trains because when you're a comedian and they go, guess what? You're not going to be working for the next 7 years. Your cabs suddenly are not as attractive. No, I'm just teasing, Tammy. But so I've had here's what I've learned. You have to have your trusty Ravkov, right? This is the beauty of Israel. Bus drivers used to get on the bus. This is just a short while ago, maybe a year and a half ago. You could actually use what we used to call money and pay to get on the bus. That's out. We're just like, even a credit card. No, the bus drivers are like, you know what? We've had it with this whole paying to get on thing. Make them do it. I'm sick of it. But it was always a fun adventure to watch the bus driver drive and count money and give change. They would never stop, like in the middle of the thing. So it was a fun thing to put your life at risk to spend 7 or 8 shekels. That was part of the adventure. That was part of the fun. Now it's way more boring. Way too safe. I'm not into it. Also, here's the beauty. The Ravkov, it's confusing as to how much money you have. When does it run out? Who knows? Here's when you find out when it runs out. When you tap it to the thing, right? And it's supposed to flash green, and then it flashes red. I would say about 9 times out of 10, it flashes red for no reason whatsoever. And then you have to go to the driver, give it to the driver, and he goes, it's fine. And every now and then, you'll tap it red. And then I remember I brought it to the driver, and he goes, yeah, you're out of money. I go, now what? He goes, I don't know. That was it. So the beauty is, if you're American and you run out of money on your Ravkov, it's free. So it's been free for me for about a month and a half. So that's good. I was just like, hey, I didn't know. No, I'm kidding. I don't say it. But I was just like, hey, I had no idea. What do you want me to do? Here's the other good thing. There are some advantages, right? To this COVID stuff happening. While this is going on. If you get a seat, if you're fortunate enough to get on the bus early enough in whatever route it is, and get a seat to yourself, nobody sit next to you, right? Because now you're a jerk, right? You can't, hey, social distancing, whatever, which of course makes total sense. I need someplace to put my phone down on the seat, and I think that's totally fair that I should have 2 seats to myself to put my phone down. One person had the nerve once to come up to me and say, do you mind if I sit in that chair? And I said, yes, I mind. it's unsafe. We have to have social distancing. So you need to go stand in the middle of the bus next to the other 15 people that can't sit down, because that makes way more sense. So please, let's think safety first when we're on the bus. Also, I should mention, I have to address the news, right? We have to address some news. It's very exciting things. An ancient oil factory was just discovered in Beit Shemesh, right? If you guys saw this in the news. Yes, Sharon Renan, you're in Beit Shemesh there? Yes, and as you know, Sharon, this was it was 1,600 years old, and still this remains the most exciting thing to happen in Beit Shemesh for the past 1,600 years. Because let's be honest, I'm still waiting for something to happen in Beit Shemesh that will be like, oh, it was exciting over 1,000 years ago, and still nothing. Because I should mention, because not everybody knows, like some people in the States are watching. In Israel, we like to make fun of Beit Shemesh, and in the States, we pick Beit Shemesh. So it's a pretty simple formula. It's, of the cities that we like to make fun of. No, I love Beit Shemesh. Beit Shemesh is one of my favorite places to perform. But then the interesting thing is, it was found in Ramat Beit Shemesh, correct? Which is the more ultra-Orthodox part of town. So it works out perfectly. There was no technology really then, and not changed so much since they're pretty much area. They still light things. Here's the other thing. By the way, speaking of lights and all this stuff, I don't know if you hear about this. Because we're in the middle of Hanukkah. Do you have to deal with the oil? You should only use oil, people. Do you know this group? Like, oh no, you have to use. It's really, you shouldn't be using candles. That's not really the. First of all, yes, you should. I have to this day never seen anyone who uses the oil and they have the exact amount that they should have with the wicks and the thing. It's always night 4 is ahead of night 2, and it's always imbalanced. And if you really want to have a good time, by the way, because this is everybody's favorite pastime. You light the Chanuka, you take a photo, right? Everybody does this, and then you post it on Facebook. Happy night 4, whatever it is. Here's what I like to do. I always post the wrong night. Like, just light, once you get to like 3, take the photo, then you can continue, go into night 5, 6, whatever it is, post that and go happy night 3, and just watch the people go, that's wrong. And then, but don't be like, oh, sorry, my mistake. Totally defend yourself. Go, you are an idiot. It is night 3. Look at your calendar. And there's going to be one person who is going to be like, maybe this person's right. Maybe I'm schizophrenic. I don't know what's going on. And then go pick a different night the next night. Just constantly pick a different night. And the key thing is to make sure it's wrong. That's the key. And make it public. But make sure you have it right yourself. Also, here's the other thing. I don't know how, I'm just curious, because most people use the Chanuka. I just have a question. I'm not quite sure what is sharper or more dangerous, this or this, because this seems to be, if you look at, I've been slicing fruit with this in the morning. You can see how dangerous this is dangerous. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. All 8 of these could slice. If I get through Hanukkah without slicing open my hand, I usually consider it a moral victory. Because I don't know if anybody's ever tried to pack one of these in your suitcase. Because I was traveling, right? I went to Dubai. I cut up, I believe, 14 shirts. I think when I this sliced through my suitcase. Like, that's how ridiculous this thing. And here's the funny thing is, they give this to children. Like, this is what you hand out to kids. That's not, no. Give them this. It would be safer. Just make a Chanuka. Just put 8 of these in a row, and one of these is a Shema. I think you'll be fine. So, because this has to stop. It's insanity. And you see the Chabad guys, they're the ones saying, they're just laughing. Yeah. Oh, what do you have? 5 kids? Yeah. Give it to the 4-year-old. Yeah. Go. No. Enjoy. Let him light it himself. It'll be a great time. Don't sweat it. That's the way of going. Should have used the oil. Told you. You heathens are using it with your stupid candles. We never used candles back in the day. Look at the Beit Shemesh thing. We used to use oil. There's your proof right there. It was party time back then, and it's party time now. You got to use the oil. Also, let me also explain this. This applies, I would say, mostly to a lot of the men that are out there. Eating sufganiyot, the donuts on Hanukkah, is not a biblical obligation. It's okay. I don't know how many times I have to explain this to people, but the excuse is just, it's Hanukkah. We got to do it. It's just like, no, you don't. You got to eat 1 the first night, 2 the second night, and then that's how you got to do it. There's a reason. Because here's the thing. I think we have to be honest. Hanukkah, it's not a biblical holiday, right? Rabbi Seth, right? It is not a biblical holiday, correct? Yes, that is correct. Okay, so it's really not as big a deal as we're making it out to be. So we can make a few things up with this one. It's not as important. This clearly, to me, this is a counterbalance to the foods that we are biblically obligated to eat. And the only ones that I can think of, right? Okay, we have Shabbat, right? We've got challah and wine, but that you can kind of wing it, you know, there is good challah, there is good wine, right? And then of course, the only other holiday where I can think of where you must eat this is Pesach, right? With matzah. Matzah is so bad that I think, and I know some of you are out there going, I like matzah. Those are the same people who are like, I like vanilla better than chocolate. Well, you're insane and you need treatment and medication because that's, you know, those kids, those people like, oh, they're kind of, I don't like pizza. Well, you have a problem. You need to see a specialist because that's just not abnormal. So here's the thing. You have to eat matzah, which sucks. And you have to eat maror, sucks. And the other things, they all pretty much suck. There's not one piece of biblical food where it's like, oh, this is great. Thank God this holiday's rolling around. So finally, I think Jews were like, you know what? We've had it. I've absolutely had it. When it comes to Hanukkah, we have two holidays that are not biblical obligations, Hanukkah and Purim, right? What do we eat on those holidays? Jelly donuts, hamantashen, fattening, sugar, and drek, fattening, sugar, and drek. This is a complete repudiation of the garbage that we're obligated to eat, right? And it's gotten so bad that even on Shabbat, I'm just like, you know what? Chulin. I've had it. It's fat, meat, oil, barley. I don't care what it is, as long as it'll put me to sleep, so I don't have to eat something else, some other food that you guys are going to come up with that's horrible. I'm eating it. That's how we're rolling on this one. Well, all right, folks. I am very excited to get our final show of the evening going. I could not be more happy to have the three phenomenal comedians that we have today. All three of them have been to Israel on the comedy tour. All three are fan favorites. I'm going to start it off with a gentleman, too many TV credits really to mention. Been in all Spike Lee films, everything. Been to Israel. Steve, was it twice, 3 times? I think twice. Got to get him back. One of my all-time favorites. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. Steve White. Here he is, folks. Steve. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if I did this for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
So I work at Publix now. See that? Nice little mess. Hello, everybody. Happy 5780. Huh? Maccabees up in this bitch. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Avi, for having me on. I didn't know you were in Israel, Avi.
Yes.
I'm up in Haifa trying to get on a bus with this. I wrote that 10 seconds ago. I don't have COVID, but my shirt does. Thank you, Tammy Pescatelli, which lets you know I'm out of material. No, I was really trying to get on the bus. I actually have props because, Avi, I was in a movie called Get on the Bus. You see that?
Yes.
Spike Lee directed Get on the Bus. This was taken in Bet Shemesh. And we're still waiting for a ride. I live in Florida now, which means that I have a gun. Because everybody has a gun in Florida. My life has changed dramatically since March. The last time I worked, I think I made a couple of bucks since then. But I've been trying to stay creative and healthy. But I have a new roommate. 85-year-old mom lives with me now. Went up and got her early April out of South Carolina, like the last American out of Vietnam. Gave her a simple scrub bath, washed her down. They were like, hey, Steve, you got a nice house in Florida. Go get mom. So, mom is my new roommate. My sister is all of a sudden an essential worker in Long Island and can help out. So it's just me and mom. Nice little house here. Siesta Key, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is what tribesmen over here, if you know what I'm talking about. And I take care of her. And she has dementia. and Alzheimer's.
Yay!
But some of those pills, if you open them up and sniff them, my mother walks around the house. This is called sundowners. She walks around the house like 4 o'clock in the morning, and she's like a Roomba. She has all this energy. She can negotiate the house with black glasses on. She's Leslie Uggams from Deadpool. That's what my roommate is. Leslie Uggams from Deadpool. If you don't know what that is, rent it. So living in Florida is tough because, just last week, I went to a Trump rally. I was like kind of ambitious for 2024, but whatevs. They're still rallying for this guy. I watched on CNN last night. He lost again. How many times you have to lose a damn election? Anyway, I don't want to get too political, but I live in Florida and I have a gun. And I ride my bike on the beach. What else? A couple of things that I learned during COVID. Since the pandemic started, a couple things I learned. You can write a rap song about anything and make it popular. You know what I'm talking about, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, WAP. Cut that out. 2, I don't know how to play basketball. Thought I was black, thought it got passed down. Don't know how to play basketball. You know what I know how to play? Pickleball. Anybody play pickleball? Come on, Jewish people. Nope. And my mother and all that other stuff. Oh, and I don't like chess, but I like Netflix series about chess. Did you see the Gambit? Fantastic. I ate my last box of Quisp cereal. You might not remember that. They have that available. I have props because that's what I feel like doing. If you look at this is a young Steve White, Drew Carey, and anybody know who that is?
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern from Roosevelt, Long Island, which is where I'm from. I can't wait to get back there, by the way, to go back to Israel, because I really want to do the snake trail the right way. I don't want to do the whole wuss out thing on the gondola. I want to run the damn thing while I still have cartilage. I miss that. I miss Dr. Shakshuka, whatever the heck that is. It's damn good, and I miss it. There's another thing that's been going on. As you know, you might not know, I have kids. I have 2 17-year-olds. You know what that means, right? I forgot for a second. All they have to do is look at the child support payment, and I realize what it is. I have 2 17-year-olds. And they don't live here with me in Florida. They're in California with the petitioner. You think, hey, Steve, it's COVID. You're not working. Why don't you hold off on those child support payments? You think that would happen? So I haven't seen them for, actually, they were out in September. So I haven't seen them for like 3 months. And they're doing their virtual school, which means they don't go to campus. They don't eat lunch on school. They don't use the electricity, but it's still a private school in Los Angeles. You think the school will go, you know what? You don't have to pay us the $42,900 per Negro kid a year. We're going to give you a virtual break. Well, that's what they actually did. The school, they stepped up. Very fantastic schools out in out in California. Shout out to Marlboro School for girls, and shout out to Viewpoint School. If anybody gets this back to them, don't tell them you paid me. I'm not paying them. I'm using what they call the race card. But my kids are great. I have boy-girl twins, Josephine and Lennox. And my son's just like me, can't play basketball, but they think he can. He's on the team, and he gets hit in the head with the ball all the time. They're like, pass it to the black kid, pass it to the black kid. I'm like, son, pass it to the Jewish boy. He's got a jumper. He's got a jumper. He's from Thousand Oaks. All right, I got a couple other things to say. Oh, by the way, for these people watching the show tonight, this was taped last Friday, all right? And I'm the Shabbos boy. This is all a ruse. This was taped last Friday night in Israel. We were all eating cheeseburgers and using electricity. That always thank you for getting that. Because when I was there, I was the one pressing all the elevator buttons. Excuse me, Ben Vereen, could you press it for me, please? Oh, you're gonna love the Jews. I'm from Long Island anyway, so, and I'm an accounting major in college, so I'm a Jew by proxy. Sephardic, the first ones. So what else is going on? That's funny, I'm sorry. Oh God, race car. I got a couple of notes here. I have a gun, dementia. Oh, I had somebody sheltering in place. Did you guys do that? Shelter in place? Yeah, got off a cruise with a young lady, came to my house. All of a sudden, she's my damn girlfriend. How did that happen? Little shits are from Connecticut. 2 weeks later, a little, she sends down for her dog, a corgi. Now I got a corgi in my house. My mom doing the Roomba thing, and this little petite white girl from Connecticut who says she can't go back because of, you know, the disease and all that. So I have a scale now in my bathroom. I never had a scale before. All of a sudden, this little white girl brings over a scale. I have a scale in my bathroom. I don't use, now I use it. It's kind of crazy. Here's what I do. I weigh myself. Then I go to the bathroom. Then I come back and weigh myself again. COVID fun. In case you're wondering, 1.5 pounds. True story. But it was interesting having a white girlfriend during COVID and all of protests and marches and murders, because she would just ask me questions out of the blue, like what's BET? And why are they burning down their own neighborhoods? I was like, I'm really gonna have to kill you before this thing is over. But it's been going pretty good. I have still been living. I saw my kids. I saw the ex-wife, and I live in Florida. What else can I tell you? Hold on, got a couple other things, and I'm out of here. First of all, make sure happy holidays for everybody. Everybody watching, make sure you have a great Hanukkah. Did I say that right? I think I did. Treated myself, by the way, this Hanukkah. I got myself a Jewish prostitute. I know she was Jewish because we only made love once, but it burned for 8 days. Well, I got to get out of here because I hear Leslie Uggams upstairs. You guys have a fantastic holiday season. The Mandel Foundation, you know I love you guys. Thank you for having me. And sei gesund.
Steve White, ladies and gentlemen.
Boom.
One of my favorites. It's hilarious. Steve White, it's interesting, by the way, Steve, when you were talking about your kids and how much you paid for private school, all the Jews in America were going, that's not a bad deal. 42 grand a year sounds like a bargain to me. I don't know for what we pay.
And you get black kids for it.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not bad. You should send them to Eula. You'll see what you'll be paying.
I did a show for Eula.
Yeah, you'll be thrilled. It's all right. So, all right, I am very excited to bring this next lovely lady to the virtual stage. One of my favorites. I just love her. Every time I see her, it's like it just puts a smile on my face. She's just not only a great comic, wonderful human being. Please welcome Tammy Pescatelli, folks. Here she is, Tammy.
Thank you. Thank you. So nice to, thank you for having me. Apologies already. Don't complain over whatever this is. Okay. I don't know what this is. This is the vortex to my career. This is all that's left of my career. I'm assuming that's what that is. Perhaps it's God's light shining upon me and it missed me. Clearly, that's what's indicative of 2020. Yes, I'm happy to be here. I am in Meadville, Pennsylvania, which, as you know, is a big Jewish Mecca. I don't know where Avi is. Avi, I don't think you know where you are. You're the only Jew I know who's been in Israel for 6 months and hasn't gotten married. I don't know how that could happen to you. It's just been an amazing time, hasn't it? I'm Sicilian, so I'm miserable by proxy, okay? I can relate to so many things you don't understand. Like this whole quarantine thing, I've gained so much quarantine weight that if I want to slip into something more comfortable, it's gonna have to be the dark. You guys don't laugh, it's gonna take, I'm gonna do 20 minutes and 4. So we're in a real conundrum. I've learned so much during the quarantine. I'm sure we all have, right? By the way, this is how I got on the bus in Israel. So it was a lot easier. They let you do whatever you want. And you can press buttons, and if they, just like my career, it doesn't work. Oh God, it's amazing. You have to understand why I'm so miserable. In February 1st, the first time I ever was the lead in a movie, That's More, it came out. Then on March 18th, my own 1 hour special came out. March 12th, a special I was in on Showtime came out. I was the host of a brand new comedy show, 10 episodes on a new channel, came out the end of February. I was on the Today Show, scheduled for the Tonight Show. And in one afternoon, on March 19th, I lost 237 dates of work in one afternoon. And people say to me, aren't you disappointed? I'm like, I'm married. I'm used to disappointment. Yeah, that's going great, just so you know. In case you were wondering what it's like to be locked up with someone who you were never with more than 2 weeks at a time for 9 months straight. Oh, that's on the best you should do for the rest of your life list. I love my husband, but a lot of you know I married the hot kid from the slow class. And that's, it's been an eye-opener because I've been married to him 12 or 13 years, depending on what we tell our son. You know, this is so weird, isn't it? Just sitting down, and he's now in bed with COVID, which he's very lucky because I was going to kill him. So he's lucky COVID saved his life. I bet he's the only person, because I was ready to poison him. He snores. I had no idea he snores. I've been married all this time, but I travel, so I didn't pay attention. So when I would travel and then I came home, I was so exhausted being wife and mom and daughter and all those things that I didn't realize I would just hit the bed and sleep like a rock. I didn't know he snored. And of course he doesn't believe me, because that's when you say to someone, you snore, what's their first response? No, I don't. I'm just making that up. Like I wouldn't make up something way more fantastical, you know, you know what you do? You juggle in your sleep. That's what you juggle. Ceiling. It's been crazy. I found myself, maybe you're like me, way more judgmental of people, these Zoom things. That's why I put this background. I don't want you to judge me, what's going on in my house. Because in the old days where you could judge people for race or religion or educational background, now we can just judge them on how clean their kitchen is. You know, it's so ridiculous. I don't want to know about that kind of stuff. I don't want to know that we're having a call and some of you right now aren't even wearing pants. I don't want to know that. I didn't want to know. You got pants on, Avi? I'm hoping so. That might. Sure. In the old days when you did a show business call and they didn't have pants on, hey, you know, I thought we got rid of some of those people. What else is going on? Let's just say Tammy Pescatelli. I don't even know my own name. Do you see how weird that is? That's how bad. Tammy Pescatelli, friend of the Juice, Smokey Robinson. Not really. I don't know if any of you saw that cameo he did. He called it Chanuka. Did anybody talk about that yet? In the past couple nights? Chanuka, the wonderful Motown soul. He wanted to wish Logan and some happy Chanuka, or Chanuka. That's what he called it. Chanuka, like it was honey, Manuka honey. I really, Smokey Rock. I abhor violence, but he deserves smacked. How can you be in show business and you don't know how to pronounce Hanukkah? At least that. I'm not saying you know all the rituals. I mean, I learned so much when I was in Israel. Avi can attest to the fact that I love it. If I wasn't married with a kid, I'd probably have moved to Israel. I'd be sitting there with you now. So consider yourself lucky, Israel, because this is a lot of fun to have on a regular basis in your country. Because I've learned so much. If you think about all the good things you've learned during this quarantine, I learned that if you had to watch a video to learn how to wash your hands, me and you are probably never going to be friends. It's disgusting. You realize how disgusting people are anymore? I always, it's an Italian word. I always skeeved people. I wanted to walk around in a hazmat suit for years. How many times people will sneeze in their hand and then go to shake your hand? Let's get out of here. And now if you have bad breath, only you have to be destroyed by it. That's right. Now you know that you have bad breath. Now you know what you've been doing to the rest of us. Now it explains why you don't have any friends. I've learned a lot. I've learned that dogs are no respecter of persons or positions. You could be literally talking to the king of the world, and if your dog has to go to the bathroom, they will come and nudge you out of your chair during a Zoom call. It's been nuts. We played a lot of, they say play old school games. So we've played a lot of, chess and checkers. And then we played like Red Rover, no one can come over. Hide and go to sleep. That's my favorite. They're hiding right now. They've been hiding for 4 hours. I just don't go find them. I can't take it anymore. I'm losing my mind. Like I was watching, no offense, but when I was watching all those violent protests compared to my house, I'm like, that looks peaceful. I'd really like to just go lay down. Is that a protest or is that just me getting away? Like, are you sitting and protesting? My life really is what I'm protesting. This is what I get. This is what I get for being a good servant to God all these years locked up with these two. You don't understand what it's like for me. Every meal I cook, every meal I clean, clean this, clean that, do this, do that. You can't sleep. Are you awake? I'm literally, there's a lot to be said. COVID looks like a nice thing at this point. What else is going on, you guys? Let's talk about this. This has become a big thing. It has been just as big as the COVID virus. TikTok. It is not for everybody. Okay, let's get that clear now. Can I say that internationally? Some of you are too old for TikTok. Okay, you're too old to twerk. Just twitch and get on with it. Just have a little seizure. I'm having a hard time. I don't know. Some of those kids on TikTok really look, I thought I almost called 911. They looked like they were having problems. What else can we talk about? People are super paranoid. We had a little bit of time. We're on a lockdown again over here in Pennsylvania, which is different state to state, by the way. No matter, just doesn't matter. I live in Pennsylvania where there are a lot of Amish people. And that's always a lot of fun because they've been giving us smallpox since the 1800s. They were never vaccinated. That was a big concern of mine. I was very depressed during this whole pandemic. I wondered who told the Amish because they have no electricity at all. How would they ever find out? But so then I tried to do, let's just say that I'm 100%, do you understand? 100% Sicilian. So for me to go to therapy, I'm the only one in my whole family who ever went to therapy unless it was court ordered. I call my mother and I'm like, Mom, I got to figure something out. I got to go to therapy. And she's like, what do you got to go to therapy for? For that right there. How about that? That is, it's just been, I don't know what to tell you. I can't handle so much of it going on. Like I never spent so much time with my son when I was pregnant. I'm pretty sure someone else carried him for a little bit on Tuesdays, at least for a couple hours. I don't know how to handle, I got a lot of energy. I like to be creative all the time, And so I still was trying to do what I do. I still was trying to do interviews and everybody has podcasts now. I mean, my neighbor, the butcher, everybody has. The good news is no kidding. I could turn this camera around and show you the house next door to me. He's a butcher. So at least I'll never run out of meat. That's good, right? I had a garden in the summer. I grew a little fruits and vegetables and now I got nothing. So we're good at that. But I thought, you know what? It's a good time to spend this time with this homeschool. Because Steve, like you, I sent my son to private school. Some of you know about all that I went through to send him. I sent him to a Catholic school because I'm a good Catholic and I don't have time to go to mass, so it counts. And I just pay a guy to pray for me, so it's really nice. And we had to go through a lot to get him into private school. I had to get on a waiting list. I had to fill out an application. I had to write an essay. This is when he was in first grade, to get him primary school, elementary school, to get him into the school, write an essay. My husband goes, I'll write it. No, he won't get in and we'll lose custody. It's been really, he's been on homeschool, and I told you, I've been trying to squeeze on the last bit of this career, and I've been doing some interviews and podcasts, and I happen to be doing an interview with a military organization that was talking to me about the USO tours that we do, that go around to all the military bases. And he said to me, do you remember the Italian comedian Dick Capri? And I said, oh my gosh, I love Dick. And I was in the dining room, and my son was in homeschool in the living room, and now he does homeschool from the car because he didn't understand. And that's not a dirty joke. That's only if you think in your head. Dick Capri's a very funny comedian, and you should look him up. I could make it dirty, but I won't, because I don't even, who wants to talk about, like people say to me, don't talk about sex. Why would I talk about something I don't do? That's not enough time in the day. I have to tell you though, this is what happened right before we went into lockdown. My cat of 15 and a half years died. And I was very upset. And so was my son. And at the time, my mother-in-law was staying with us. And my mother-in-law, of course, is right from Italy. And some of you know how difficult she is. I'd like to tell people that the Pope would stab her with his hat. And she just didn't understand. She has no, she doesn't understand pain and agony of other people. She has no empathy. She's a sociopath. And and a good cook. So I don't know, you balance it out. But when I was trying to explain to my son, he'd never dealt with death, God bless him. And I said, well, the cat went across the Rainbow Bridge. And my mother-in-law yells, oh, you got her the gay cat? So, that's stuff that I deal with all the time. So luckily enough, and I'm going to end this right here. I'll tell you what happened. So it was the day before it all broke down, and my son was able to go to school. And one of the beautiful things, whether you're Catholic, whether you're Jewish, whatever, when you send your child to a religious school, there's a reason for that. So they can pray, so they can have a heart for God. And that's what I wanted. That's what I raised my son, to have a heart for God. And when he was at school, his classmates have a heart for God. And they said a prayer for our family and our pain, even though it's just, I know it's a cat. Trust me, I got you. You don't have to write me, and you don't have to fill up the chat box. I know, but it's still, it is what it is, right? And my son was upset. That day, they had to take a test. And my son right now goes neck and neck with the grade point average with another child in the class. Now, yes, my son is smart, and no one says their kid is stupid. No one goes, oh my God, I got to invest in Velcro shoes for the rest of my life. Okay. I know that. They think it, but they don't say it out loud. And he solved the Rubik's Cube when he was 8 years old. 8 on his own, no cheats, nothing. He said to me, Mommy, you never solved the Rubik's Cube? Not for real. I once paid people. I don't know, but you never know how it's going to go. My husband is not the smartest. I got a brother to who is, let's just say, he hasn't made such great choices in his life. And I have to sit next to most of those choices at holiday dinners. Every family has a to-do, right? Even the royal family. Prince Harry, whatever his name is, Prince Harry. He's the to-do of the royal family. The one who left with his new wife. He's known her for like 6 months, and then he leaves his whole family for her, moves away because she's her feelings are hurt. Don't we all have one of those in our family? Don't oh my God, they're saying bad stuff about me on the internet. Close the computer. How about that, genius? Let's do that. You can't suck it up. Your grandmother is on the money. Don't you think things through? That's the problem with the young generation. They don't think through to the end game. She's got a mother-in-law, Camilla Parker Bowles, who married Prince Charles after the beloved Princess Diana, Camilla Parker Bowles, who looks like George Washington, okay? You don't think people are saying bad stuff to her every day, but she knows the end game. That's the thing, my sweet young millennials. You don't see past the moment. You gotta get off your TikTok and look to the end. I got so much crap on my new special about them saying, ooh, peanut allergies are real, because I made a joke about peanut allergies. I know they're real. Tudu had a peanut allergy in the 80s. Do you know the 80s? And do you know what my parents did for that peanut allergy in the 80s? Nothing. Not a thing. Not a thing. They said, do you want that Snickers or not? That was the whole thing. What are they going to do? Do you think they would have bought me an EpiPen for $800 when it only cost $400 to have a new baby at the hospital back then? Do the math, the old math, not this new stupid math. I don't understand. So my kid is at school. I'm getting ready for the dismount. So my kid is at school. And he's at school. And before I leave, let me just say how amazing this is to be part of this, you know, because I love you guys and I'll be there as much as you want to have me. And maybe I'll pretend to get quarantined there even when quarantine's over so I can stay a little longer. He's at school and he's taking a test and he's sad, clearly sad. But this little girl who's going neck and neck with him for the highest grade point average in the class chooses that moment to dig in. Because, you know, some people like that. Some kids are, you know, there's always a kid, you know. And in Italian, we say cornut. I don't know what the word is in Yiddish, but it's cornut. Cornut. And she's a cornut, her mother's a cornut, her grandmother, it's generational cornut, okay? You know that. People are like that. There's a whole family of them and we talk about them all the time. And Tudu loves to date cornuts. So she decides that's when she's gonna pick on my son while they're taking a test and she knows his heart is broken. So she knows that we lost our cat and she starts doing this in the middle of the test. Meow. Meow. My son looks at her and goes, knock it off. And she goes, how's your cat? And my son is my son. And that apple is still on the tree. And my son said to her, how's your dad? Because her father left the family when they were in kindergarten. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I know, because I had explained it to the principal. Yes, a cat is not as much as a father, right? But let's break this down. She's known for a long time about her father. He never said a word until she brought it up. And she drew first blood. She wanted him to cry. Clearly, he volleyed back, right? And we should all know this moving forward in the world. Let this be a lesson to her whole Cornut family, and anyone who's listening. If you're going to pick on people, you should check out their background. Know who you're going. Everybody gets feisty on the internet. Know who you're going against. He was not the butcher's kid. He's not the car salesman kid. He's a comedian's kid. And I'm a verbal assassin. Okay. And now we got to find a new school. Anyway, happy Hanukkah.
Happy Pescatelli, everybody.
I love you all. Thank you.
By the way, Tammy, I was going to say, if you need a new cat, I'm in Tel Aviv. We got like 50 to spare. No problem.
No, I know. You don't know how I was trying to stuff. I tried to stuff a duffel bag full of cats back to the state.
Playing cards. We could just throw them out to you. Believe me, it's totally not a problem. All right, folks, I am so excited. Again, for one more time for Tammy Pescatelli, so hilarious.
Thank you.
And your final performer of the evening is, again, been all over TV, films. That's one of my favorite parts about this next guy. When we were in Israel, a few people I've seen like really engrossed being here more than he did. And he loved sitting there and talking to Rabbi Seth about scripture, anything at all. I would just see the two of them constantly talking and really enjoyed it. And Seth would always mention me, like, how's Ron doing? He'll always ask me because they enjoyed it. And I loved having him here. We got to get him back here soon. But for now, please welcome him to the virtual stage, Mr. Ron Pearson. Here he is, folks. Ron.
Hey, guys. Hey, all the other comedians. what a great show so far. So Steve, way to go. Tammy, way to go. I miss you guys. Avi, I miss you. Rabbi and Sherry, I miss you all so much. And I wish I could be with you all. What a wonderful, wonderful show so far. I don't know. I was back there 2012, I believe. So for those of you tuning in that don't recognize me or don't know me, let me just start with, I'm the baby of 8 children, 8 kids, which is like a regular Catholic family or a really small Mormon family. I'm not sure, but God blessed me with great parents. This is a true story. 2 of the kids in my family were adopted. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, but my parents never told us which 2. That'll mess you up, man. I was talking that over with my brother, Lee Fong, and he thought it was Abdul. We thought it was a twin. Nobody knows in my family. And now, I don't know what's happened with COVID and Israel. Israel tends to be a pretty direct country. Like, people can be extremely nice, but they can be direct and tough. In America, California, people pretty laid back. Generally, people pretty nice. Customer service is a big thing with businesses here, and it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore in our country. I don't know. I called the airlines, true. We have a house in Texas too. I'm in LA right now, in my house in LA. But I called the airlines to get an airline ticket. The lady was mad at me right off the bat. She was just mad, like, who does customer service that way? She just yelled. She goes, "Your name?" I'm like, "Wow, lady, it's Ron Pearson." She goes, "Dearson, D as in dog." I'm like, "No, Pearson, P as in ptomaine and pneumonia." I go, but you know, it's funny. I've flown on El Al. I've flown on El Al a few times. Man, that is a secure airline. I mean, you talk about secure. Israelis, they don't go over you guys as much. But in LA, going to Israel, when you get to the airport, they find you. There's somebody that comes up to you. "Can I have your passport? Can I have your passport?" They take your passport and they just ask you like tough questions. Like, I don't know if you're going to get in the country. You know, where are you staying when you're in Israel? And I answer, you know, I'm going to be here and there and the other place. And then next question, what countries have you visited in the last year? And then you tell them, because we're comics, we go around. I'm still thinking, am I going to get in? And they ask you another question. What is the square root of pi? I'm like, I'm not getting in. This is not going to happen. They check you out. They search every part of you and your luggage coming in. I mean, just how many parts of my bodies are you guys going to expect? And that's when I realized they left out the W. It's, well, all. That should be the name of the airline. Matter of fact, had I known they were going to search that much, I would have eaten more fiber that day. I think that's the lesson I think we all learned. So I've been married now for 22 years, 22, not in a row. I'm from LA. That's 4 wives. Add them up, 22 years. That's a good match. No, 22 years with my wife. And by the way, my wife and I honeymooned in Israel. How about that?
Whoa.
How about that? 1998. And we loved it. It was great. 10 days. Wonderful. Wonderful. And it changed when I got there in 2012. Man, everything had really come a long way. It just, I can't wait to get back and see it again. I can't wait to get back and see it again. But let me tell you something. When you're dating, gift giving is so easy. Like, because all relationships really are about gift giving, aren't they? You give a physical gift or you give an emotional gift, right? Both are just as important, and you have to do them both. But when you're dating, the physical gift could be, I mean, you can give her something great and like, bang, look at that, I'm the king. Or when I was dating my wife, I could just pick up a jar of peanut butter off the counter, hand it to her, and she loved, oh my gosh, he cares about me. He got crunchy, he cares. When you're married, no longer peanut butter. It's 4 gifts a year: birthday, anniversary, Christmas, Valentine's. And if you're in Israel, Hanukkah is going to fill in Christmas. That's 8 more gifts. Good luck. Good luck. By the way, Hanukkah, isn't there, my Jewish friends, there's a real trick to Hanukkah gifts for the kids, because that's 8 gifts in a row, and that's a lot of pressure for a parent. That is a lot of pressure. So my friends, really good gift is the first gift, and then they hammock some, like socks or, things that you need to get them. Good gift in the middle, and then the big gift the 8th day, right? But when you're married, you can no longer get lousy gifts. They have to be good gifts. At the beginning of the marriage, so easy. Bang, look at that. Bang, look at that. I'm the king. Look at that. 8 years in, this is a true story. I ran out of ideas. I did. I got her such lousy gifts. She's so mad. She's like, just give me cash. So this year, I wanted to get her something really good. I had no idea what to get her. This is true. I went to her best friend. I go, what do I get her? And she changed how I thought. She said, get her something she would not get for herself. And I'm like, that's how I have to think, right? Get her something she would not get for herself. So I got her a job, and I don't think we're going to make it to the next one. I'm not sure. You know what's so weird? When you first get married, every guy says the same thing within 30 minutes of the first marriage. That thought goes through your head. It might last a 1/10 of a second, and it might last 30 minutes. But when you first get married, that thought goes through your head. Did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? And I remember saying to myself that day, 22 years ago, I go, I got a good deal. I got a good deal. So I lived 15 years of my life with, I got a good deal. 7 years ago, God opened my eyes when I was married 15 years. He opened my eyes to say, you did not get a good deal. You got the best woman on the planet. You couldn't have done better. I made this woman for you. She is perfect. And now I'm mad. Do you realize I'm mad at myself for living 15 years of, you got a good deal? I have downplayed myself. I've downplayed her in our relationship. And I can't even believe it. I'm so thankful I have this woman. I can't even believe she chose me. I could not even imagine being single now. Now, a buddy of mine that got married one month within the time I got married, he just got divorced. And he's now out there. And I'm like, I can't even imagine being back out there. He's like, well, I gotta get back out there. I gotta start dating. I'm like, yes, you do. He goes, I'm gonna get online. I go, you get online. So he got online and he got matched with his ex-wife. How did that happen? How did that happen? Do you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain? And they both lied about their age. How crazy is that? Now, right when I got married, my stepfather, I lost my real father when I was 7 years old. And God blessed me with another dad a few years later, thank goodness. And he was great. I feel lucky. I feel like, God blessed me with two good dads. So that's kind of cool. But my stepfather comes up, he says, Ron, this is important. Marriage is like chess. I go, what? That's terrible. I'm trying to beat her. He goes, no, you're on the same team. She's the queen and you're the king. And I go, well, that makes sense. Because she's allowed to go anywhere on the board she wants. And I can only go one square at a time. Hey, stay away from that knight. I'm calling the bishop. He's right over here. Marriage is crazy. And I married a Southern woman, not Southern Israel, Southern United States. Her name's Tanya Turner, and she's from Tyler, Texas, and her brother's Todd Turner. So it's Tanya Todd Turner from Tyler, Texas. And that's East Texas. So her wife is, her accent is thick. For her, high is a 3-syllable word. 3. Like, how'd you stretch that out? She has a phrase, y'all. Y'all know the phrase, y'all? Are you familiar with that? Y'all means everyone. But she has another phrase, which is all y'all, which apparently is everyone plus everyone else. Now, my brother-in-law, he's real good. He has a word, yanked. It's a lazy way of saying you haven't. Normal English would say, well, you haven't, but they'll say yanked, but he'll still make it a double negative. He's like, you ain't not done that. I have no idea. He pulled up a triple negative. You ain't not never done that. He pulled up a quadruple negative. You ain't not never done that. I think he should be a prosecuting attorney, because could you imagine he's got somebody on the stand being tried for murder? He's like, you ain't not never not pulled the trigger. You got a 50% chance he's going to confess right there. And my wife is Southern, but what she loves to cook. She does, and she's a great cook. But why is it when my wife goes on a diet, the whole house has to go on a diet? No one else in my family can eat. She's not buying food and she's not cooking food. 2 weeks into my wife's diet, I'm so weak and emaciated, I can't even speak. I just blink to the children, save yourselves. 3 weeks into my wife's diet, kids in Africa start sponsoring me. My wife went on a tofu diet. You know what tofu is? Straight from the pit of hell. That's what tofu is. Tofu is a white jello. It has no flavor or taste or smell that you cook in a pan next to another food and it sucks the life out of the other food. Now that is demonic. Tofu is one of China's biggest exports. You know why? They don't want that stuff either. It was a Chinese word. It means spam. There's only one country in the world that doesn't like tofu, and that's England. Too much flavor. Bad food and bad taste. Hello, I'm English. Hello, love. Come here. Give me a kiss. Live over me upper tooth. Hello, British. You ever notice British people? British people, they sound like the most trustworthy people. They sound like the smartest people on the planet just because of their accent, right? They could be as dumb as a stick and we would have no idea because their accent makes them sound like they know everything. They could, right? And we don't believe them. They follow it with the phrase, "I'm not kidding." And then we go, "Oh, okay." They could be like, "We won the Revolutionary War." I'm not kidding. Elton John is as straight as an arrow. I'm not kidding. No, we have the best dental plan in the world. The Brits. So my wife is about decorating our house. You can see we have let's see if we can see we have those nice pictures over there. She decorates a lot. She's a decorator. She likes to do that, but she spends 2 weeks in a place that I think it's biblical. Rabbi, I don't know the Jewish line on hell. The Christian line in hell is that it's a real place and that there's 7 layers of hell. And it starts with Hades and runs down. My wife spends about 2 or 3 hours every 2 weeks in a place that's a 3rd or 4th layer of hell. It's a place called Bed Bath and Beyond. Bed Bath and Beyond my ability to pay the bill is what that is. Oh my gosh. She just, "Honey, look what I got us. New throw pillows for the bed." That's a 2-syllable word. Bed. Help me get them on top of the others. They're called throw pillows because she got 350 of them up there. When I want to go to bed at night, I got to throw those suckers off. I actually have a rotator cuff injury just trying to go to bed at night. And then she puts ceiling fans in every room of our. It is a nightmare. Now we have children. Oh my word! I have a daughter named Reagan, but she first 2 years she didn't have hair, so I called her Rogaine. And I have a son named Tex, and we named him after the state of Texas because we live in California. We thought Cal would be redundant. I'm from Washington State. If we named him Wash, he'd be obsessive compulsive. So we just went with Tex. So we got Tex and Reagan. And no one tells you how hard it is to have a kid. They first get married. When are you going to have children? They're such a blessing. Best thing that ever happened. My word, no. As soon as you have a child, run straight to your parents' house, drop it off and run. Your life is over. No one told me when my daughter was 1 year and 4 months old, she would wake me up every morning, 4:30 a.m., true story, banging me on the head. "Daddy, Daddy." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Shh, Mama's sleeping." Wake her up tomorrow, would you? Oh my word. 1 year, when she was 1.5 years old, she opened the shower door, points right at my crotch and goes, You know how emasculating that is from your own daughter? It's like, not you too. No one tells you. My kids, they're just constantly online. They don't give me no attention. We're all quarantined to this house. You'd think someone would talk to me, but they're so busy texting. My son's thumbs should be giant by now because he doesn't lift weights, but he sure has the thumbs working. If it was not for tough love in this house, I would have no love at all. That's true story. But no one, I went to the University of Washington up in Seattle. I majored in business. I got out of school and I traveled the world performing. And I wish they would have taught me a little more in life about how it went. because they taught us about sine, cosine, and tangent. I have yet to use sine, cosine, and tangent. They taught us about pi r squared. I don't use that, but no one taught me about life. I wish they would have done that. So I'm going to show you how your life goes, what I wish they would have taught me. And I don't care who you are or where you're from, if you're from Israel, if you're from the United States, if you're from Cabinda, it doesn't matter. We all have the same life, and it goes like this. You wake up to your world about age 16. About age 16, you say to yourself for the first time, oh, I need to get a job one day. So I'm going to have to work real hard at a skill to make money. But you know what? I want to make a lot of money. So I'm going to work and work and work for years to become an expert at a skill. And then one day, out of the blue, I get a relationship going. Now I have to keep the job going because she needs a lot of money. But now, not only do I have to be an expert at my job, all of a sudden, I have to be an expert at relationships. This is hard. She wants me to be masculine yet sensitive. I don't know if I'm supposed to be Tom Cruise or Tom Cruise. Then we bought a house. Now I have to be a plumber. I have to be an electrician. I have to be a landscape artist. I have to be an expert at taxes. Now we have children. Oh, shoot. I just lost my child. Hold on. Now we have children. Now I'm a doctor, I'm a mentor, I'm a theologian, and all of a sudden I hear from my wife, honey, I don't get enough attention. There is no time. That's how your life goes. How about that? So real quick, let me do a few more tricks. We're in a house with a, I guess that's a 9-foot roof. Not bad for a juggler. By the way, Tammy made a joke of her husband snoring. Why couldn't he do something fantastical like juggle in his sleep? Tammy, I made my living juggling. No one ever called me fantastical, let alone a beautiful woman. Thank God. As a juggler, I basically feel like I'm a carny with teeth at best. Oh boy. All right. So if you guys haven't seen juggling before, it looks something like this right here. Whoops. I got a new one. Looks something like this right here. Quick impression. Me trying to play with my older brothers and sisters as a child. Hey guys, could I play with you guys today? Ow! Story. Quick impression. Charlie Sheen, juggling. Is that powder? Quick impression, Bill O'Reilly. No spin. Tough crowd. Quick impression, Taylor Swift. Very flat. New York taxi cab drivers at rush hour. Taxi cab drivers in Tel Aviv at rush hour. Y'all see this right here? Yeah, salmon going upstream during spawning season. Here we go. Real quick. Oh, shoot. Nobody noticed. Big finale. There's a spin.
Woo!
One more trick. Let's see if I can do it with a 9-foot ceiling here. Hopefully it will work. Oh my, here we go. Kids, if you're watching, do not drop out of college. It leads to this life. Oh, who wants gum? Anyone?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Okay, Alex.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Pearson, ladies and gentlemen, how about that?
Crazy.
First time we heard somebody juggling, I'm impressed he didn't hit the roof. How about another round of applause for everyone you saw tonight? One more time again for Steve White, Andy Pescatelli, And of course, Ron Pearson, sorry, Ron White, hilarious. Steve White and Ron White.
I'd like to have his
That's
his
what happens.
bank account.
COVID. Yeah, Ron Pearson, folks, it's hilarious. Folks, thanks so much for coming out again. And Dean, are you there? Do we have any questions? I believe somebody wanted one, right?
Yeah. First of all, if anybody has other questions, please put it in the chat and we'll try and get to them. But the first question was, if all three of you can just give one of your best memories from your trip or trips to Israel.
Best memory. Well, I will let you go in order. So, Steve, why don't you start off? What best memory or trip from Israel? Or
Best memory, playing Matt Cook by the King David Hotel. And all the people.
Right? Yeah.
It's basically pickleball on the beach in Israel without bouncing. And of course, going to Bethlehem to see the birthplace of Jesus, they said.
Right. How about, I actually remember, Steve, but you brought that up. David Crow did a joke. He said about Matkut, he said, it's sort of like the Middle East conflict itself, just back and forth with no real winner or loser, just constantly just bet you with no real end in sight. So it always made me laugh. That every time I hear that game, I think of David. All right, Tammy, how about you? One of your most favorite memories, or?
Well, I have a lot, so it's really hard. I know that I had an amazing, every day I saw a rainbow. Every
That's
single
true. I remember that.
day
Yeah.
there was a rainbow, which you know, I used to kids say, hey, maybe there's 13 instead of 12. But I just fell in love with the people. Yes, it's beautiful. The history is beyond. I'd only read about this history and seeing all these places, but the people, there was so much love, especially thank you to the Mandels for this organization, because every night we would go somewhere and people would offer us to come to their homes. And of course I'd say no, because I don't want to judge you on how dirty your kitchen is. But I'm just kidding. No, it was amazing. The love, it was so beautiful. And Israel has a friend in me. I mean, that's it. That's all I can say. I fell in love with everything about it.
All right. And how about, yes, Ron, how about you?
So many. First of all, my first time in Israel, my wife and I, because we were honeymooning, we didn't sign up with a big tour, but we talked to an Israeli tour agent in Los Angeles, and he said, can you hook us up with one of the big Christian tours that we can go? And he goes, I'm working on it. He goes, I got the one for you. So we get to Tel Aviv, we spend the night, we get in there in the morning, we go downstairs, and there's a guy about 70 years old, about this tall, comes up, picking up all my bags. I'm like, let me get the bags. He goes, no, I got the bags. And he's carrying the bags. I'm like, I should be carrying the bags, you know. We get in this van, and pretty soon the van starts filling up with people. And it's like a 1984 Ford Econoline van. And next thing you know, we're sardines in 3 rows, bags stuffed everywhere and on the roof. And we're driving out of Tel Aviv. And a British guy in the back, after about 45 minutes, because we all think we're going to a nice air-conditioned giant bus. And a guy in the back goes, Ari, our guide's name was Ari. Ari, is this it? Is this the tour? We're not going to a big air-conditioned bus. And you could see Ari, he knew what was coming. He looked, yes, this is it. And everybody was kind of upset. But once you got to know Ari, you realized, wow, we got one of the youngest survivors out of a concentration camp. He came to Israel before 1948, was deported out and put in the camps was that Crete? And then came back and fought in the War of Independence. He fought in the next war. And this guy was a wealth of knowledge. So the fight for the whole rest of the tour was, who can get the front couple seats so we can hear stories from this amazing man? And he just became you just loved him. Like, we couldn't have gotten a better tour. We got a private tour with a real hero and a guy who's really lived it all. It was just amazing. Then to fast forward, when I have a lot to say about Israel because I love it. You know, scripture is really clear. I will bless those that bless you and curse those that curse you. In my family, we choose to bless Israel because we want to be blessed. And I got to be honest, for a juggler, I'm pretty blessed. And I believe this is why. I know God has his hand on me and I support Israel. And so my next time in memories that were great. We're sitting outside the main gate of Jerusalem with Seth at a table having a meal, talking scripture and how he came to Israel and how he became a rabbi, and talking with me about my Christianity was just beautiful. And then a few nights later, we did the show right there outside the gates in Jerusalem. And I felt so blessed and honored to be able to do, to me, Jerusalem is the city of cities in the world. And to be able to do a show just 100 yards from the gates of the old city was a real blessing. So I'll never forget that, never forget it. And also visiting Seth and Sherry's home in Tekoa. That was really amazing. You know, from my scripture, I know the woman from Tekoa. I know that's the area that right near Herodian, and that's the area that Abraham took to go on the mountains. You know, Lot, which do you want? Lot chose poorly. Abraham chose well, and he went up. And also to know that that's the way that they would often attack Jerusalem up through that valley there. It's pretty amazing. So very fond memories of the whole thing. I'm very thankful. Thank you, Avi. And thank you,
Great
Seth.
stuff, Ron. And Tammy, you want to say something? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a fond memory, but it was an interesting memory. We, of course, stayed at that lovely hotel where we all gained 27 pounds.
Breakfast.
But it was literally a stone's throw from the embassy. And we were there when Trump announced that he was moving the embassy to Jerusalem.
Wow.
And the Palestinians decided that they were going to have 4 days of rage. And then it rained. And apparently their rage wasn't enough to get outside with an umbrella. So I remember thinking, wow, these are a tough people. That they just get their hair wet. We had Avi, you can tell everybody, you can attest, I went to all of the holy places and somehow ended up only by myself.
Yes. Yeah, I thought of you, Tammy, because it's when I was in Jerusalem. That's Tammy. It's okay if I say this, Tammy. I hope I'm not infringing, but you were very. Tammy was very moved at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. There's the spot of the crucifixion. I would ask Tammy, give me your camera, and I'll take photos of you while you're around. And then I remember, like, distinctly, every shot I took, for some reason, when we'd look at it afterwards in the phone, there'd be some kind of light which was just unique or interesting. It's like around it. It was just very strange.
I was so blessed. I mean, I have chills now. I'm so blessed. I would walk into everywhere we went, there would be crowds of people, and maybe I stunk. Maybe I should take it more, and maybe it's not a blessing. Maybe I needed to shower more, but then it would dissipate. And it was just, I'll be back a million more times, and you'll be sick of me.
We'll definitely get you back here. Steve, how about
you get out of there first, and then we'll worry about getting me back in.
Yeah, because I didn't get the Mandel Mansion tour, so
your house.
Tammy, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
I also swam in the Sea of Galilee with Persian Jews. That was really nice. And whatever that.
Masada?
And I went to the sauna, that sauna, that hot spring. What was the name of that, Avi? The hot spring up there? It was near the Sea of Galilee.
Where were we? Oh, it's near the Dead Sea, I think.
No. This was up by the Sea of Galilee.
Way up north?
Yeah.
Up by the Lebanese border.
Hot spring. Very nice.
I just remember Steve joking, and to this day, I don't know whether he's joking. I don't want to know. Steve goes, my goal is to pee in every famous body of water that we have.
The Sea of Galilee. I peed where Jesus peed. Come on.
So that's what I remember.
No wonder the Red Sea parted.
Yeah. Any other questions? Or you tell me. I don't want tonight.
What's that?
Well, you guys answered so wonderfully. We're gonna just move on to the raffle for tonight. Steve, can I ask you to choose a number, please, between 1 and 352?
13. Damn it! I was gonna say 5780. 13.
13. Okay.
May I just say this before we go? I'm willing to trade my COVID vaccine for a PS5. COVID vaccine for a PS5. Let that be known around the world.
All right, the winner is Elaine and Seymour Brief. You have won a prize from Scoop Catering. We'll be in touch and we'll send you your prize winner. Everybody,
welcome.
thank you so much for being here. Seth and Sherry, you want to lead us out?
Listen, three of my favorite comedians, my favorite people. I remember all of you separately. Steve, I think, was on the very first tour that we did for Comedy for Koby. I'm not positive. Ron, I remember our conversations near the walls of the old city. And Tammy, it's always good to see you. So thank you, Avi. You've done a great job with this as well. Jeremy and Dina. Great work, wonderful to work with you. And thank you all very much. And you can always go to our website and make another donation because we could certainly use it at these kinds of times. Happy Hanukkah to everybody.
Happy Hanukkah, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you live
Happy
next time.
Hanukkah.
Happy
All right.
Hanukkah.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for
Bless you.
supporting our work.
Bye, guys. Even mom.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Okay. That's it, folks.